This seems interesting. The $1 trillion social media tariff troll. Bro, what?
Okay, who's ready for this one? What if I told you that on April 7th of 2025, during the global tariff mania caused by President Trump, a troll post on social media began circulating, and that this one individual troll post would result in multi-trillion-dollar market manipulation with an Ouroboros-style snake eating its own tail kind of outcome, where probably nothing happens and no one ever gets held accountable,
Genius.
despite an untold and mind-blowing amount of money changing hands as a direct result of it. Here's the context. Basically, the entire global stock market is crashing right now. Depending on when you watch this video, there may be new tariff policies on the table. The bleeding may have stopped, is what I'm saying. But on April 3rd, 4th, and 7th, as a direct result of the impending tariff standoffs all around the world, the United States stock market experienced some of the single largest one-day declines in history. Of course, Donald Trump could fix that problem within, let's say, 15 seconds. If he tweeted, haha, JK, never mind, the market would almost certainly immediately just stabilize.
Recover.
Because the downward pressure is almost exclusively caused by the prospect of American businesses being directly harmed by unprecedented new tariffs on practically all of our closest allies. Still, without diving too far into the politics of it all, because I have strong opinions there, Wall Street traders, portfolio managers, even everyday Main Street investors on April 7th of 2025 were desperate for news about what might happen, who might capitulate, and how the markets might perform.
And then along come the troll.
Cool. Sounds simple, right? It's anything but simple, but sure, yes it is. We'll call it that for right now. However, what's not simple is the media game of telephone, something I've referenced on numerous prior occasions in different videos. The fact that Twitter is now a breeding ground for the most obvious, brazen, and inexplicably tolerated disinformation spreading on planet Earth. And that all of these factors combined
It's a cesspit. It's a motherfucking cesspit.
Would lead to a situation where a random person says something and the entire stock market makes a
That's so funny. I find it so funny.
$1-trillion move. Or, sorry, multiple multi-trillion-dollar moves.
That's
Here's where
crazy.
it starts. This is, welcome to the mainstream spotlight stage here, buddy. Hammer Capital.
Stage.
A literal
Hammer Capital.
Nobody. Elon, take my $8 please blue checkmark account. He posted at 10:11 a.m. Eastern Time, quote, Hassett, Trump is considering a 90-day pause in tariffs for all countries except China, end quote. Well, zippity-doo-dah, right? Pause the tariffs and the markets will immediately rise, most likely. What could possibly go wrong? A lot. That's the answer. A lot can go wrong. 2 minutes later, at 10:13 a.m., an account named Walter Bloomberg, no relation to Bloomberg News whatsoever, yet another Elon take my $8 please blue checkmark ad revenue farmer, posted, quote, Hassett, Trump is considering a 90-day pause in tariffs for all countries except China, end quote. That seems fantastic. Now we have two random people saying that the tariffs are about to be paused. Seems a lot more credible, no? Well, the impact that this had on the stock market was immediate, and a couple minutes later,
immediate. What the fucking stockbrokers doing? Sitting on Twitter?
CNBC anchor, live on air,
just refreshing the trending. Oh God.
This.
I think we can go with this headline. Apparently Hassett's been saying that Trump will consider a 90-day pause in tariffs for all countries except for China.
No, they're even. That's it. It's made it. It made it to the news. The geezers that tweeted that, they would have been laughing their heads off, giggling.
China,
except for China.
Oh, well, that's huge. I mean, that changes the game.
We'll try and source that exactly.
He's already selling his stocks.
You know, but to your point, you know, longer term, let's say, okay, we get a 90-day pause. I don't know. I'm curious to get your thoughts about credibility. Sarah and I were talking about it moments ago.
We're not.
What it means for policy going forward, and/or how you navigate this, both as a decision maker at the top of a company or an investor.
No one likes this uncertainty. This is a negative. You know, that he could do something like this and not listen. Let's hope Congress takes back the powers of the tariff that the fathers of the Constitution wrote in and get.
They got it here on the headline. Trump considering a 90-day pause on tariffs for all countries except China.
Gave them, and they gave up to the president.
They got it on the headline.
Let's recap real fast, okay? Random Nobody on Twitter, number one, says 90-day pause on tariffs. Big thumbs up. Random Nobody Twitter user number two, I guess
account.
maybe sees that and says, yeah, that seems fine.
Is it. Yeah,
Reposting it then to a larger audience.
Yeah.
And then CNBC, who sees it after, as the markets
they put
already started moving, says, sure, let's just say that live on air.
See, that's what I'm saying, bro. CNBC and all of that, they got no credibility. They do no due diligence. They, oh my God, they're like, it's terrible, man.
Awesome. Really cool. Except the ball wasn't done rolling yet, because now that CNBC said something, Reuters decided to say something, also issuing an official alert using CNBC as their source. Obviously, the markets were now fully pumped up.
Using CNBC as their source. It's the blind leading the blind. There's no one in the driving seat, ladies and gentlemen.
The Dow Jones Industrial Average had swung by like 2,000 points in minutes. And then the official rapid response account for the White House comes in and says, wrong, fake news, sending the market plunging back into the negative very fast. The White House was replying to this account, a very big account called Unusual Whales, who I think does a fairly decent job, actually, covering financial news. And their post came at 10:16 in the morning, which means they were technically after CNBC. So not the source or even the original circle of misinformation spreaders, more like one of the potentially millions of people who heard something on the news and then believed it. Here's where it gets funny, okay? After the White House called it
ain't been funny so far.
Fake news, CNBC, of course, immediately published that. Reuters, of course, again, immediately retracted their alert. And then the scrutiny shifted back to Twitter. Walter Bloomberg and Hammer Capital, who were these guys? And why was it that they were the early
legends? This is who they are.
Earliest known mention of this fake news tariff pause? Get this. Walter Bloomberg, in a direct message statement to the New York Times, who was running a story about this as it happened, claimed that, quote, the post had originated minutes earlier from another X account. Given the market movement, plus 4.5%, I deemed the headline reliable and posted it at 10:13. And he goes on to say, a few minutes later, Reuters picked up the story, citing CNBC. End quote. Now, from where I'm sitting, that sounds like it has to be Hammer Capital that he's referring to.
Yeah,
it sounds to me like he saw the random post from Hammer Capital at 10:11 in the morning, and then reposted it himself at 10:13.
2 minutes
but
later,
after people started pressing him about sources in a reply to someone under his now deleted post, Walter Bloomberg directly claims, when asked where did the headline come from, that Reuters was the source of the information.
That's fucking hilarious. That is the blind leading the blind, honestly.
Remember, in the timeline of how this all happened,
that's hilarious.
Reuters didn't even put their headline out there until about 10:19 in the morning, directly citing CNBC, which was also after Walter Bloomberg made the claim himself. And let's also not forget that he told the New York Times that the post originated...
And that Walter Bloomberg account sounds important.
...dated from another X account. Walter, buddy,
so funny.
What happened here, bro? Like,
what happened?
What really happened here, Walter?
Yeah, bro.
Let me tell you what I see. I see a random fucking moron on Twitter.
Trust me,
posting completely untrue bullshit.
Facts.
And then another moron on Twitter says, yeah, oh, my ad
good
revenue.
One.
Which
good one.
Leads to CNBC covering the news, Reuters picking it up afterwards, and then the random idiots on Twitter, as they get rightly scrutinized for circulating fake financial news that impacted the markets, try to say, well, we got it from Reuters, which would make the entire media cycle of this story the Ouroboros snake eating its own tail.
Stupid.
It's a circle of idiots pointing at each other saying, but I got it from him. And it perfectly demonstrates the quote by, I think it was Mark Twain, that a lie can make it halfway around the world while the truth is still putting on its shoes.
Yep.
Twitter is one of the most brazenly ridiculous platforms now for spreading verifiably false information. And yet people still keep falling for it.
It's crazy.
The entire platform has devolved into a cesspit of spam and revenue farming, engagement bait, disinformation, even nation-state actors running botnets to influence politics. Like, it's so much garbage.
It's a mess out there, isn't it? It's horrible. You've got to put your coat on when you go out.
Lies. I'm not going to sit here and claim that the prior version of Twitter was perfect, not by any stretch of the imagination, but it was worlds better than whatever this shit is. And now even mainstream news publications are falling for it, because at a time when there should be even more effort placed on verifying information,
they're not doing their job.
There was less emphasis placed.
Yeah, they're not doing their job.
Everyone's going to play pass the blame now, but my guess is that these random Twitter dipshits are just in way over their head.
No, they're gone. They're vanished. That's it. They're laughing their head off, sipping a Mai Tai.
Maybe there's more of them. It wasn't just these two. But when you are the apparent first person to make a significant financial claim, and then the entire stock market whipsaws trillions of dollars in value because of the fake news that you seem to be the first person to spread, yeah, you done fucked up bad.
Yeah, you fucked
you probably
up, bro.
Shouldn't be doing what you're doing. You should most likely...
Yeah, he fucked up. Whoever done that.
Delete your social media accounts and no longer work in the world of finance, bro. I doubt that there will be any consequences for this whatsoever. But I really hope that there are, because these, for lack of a better word, losers chasing ad revenue on social media to any extent that they can, even when that means unverified information or blatant lies or twisting the truth for the sake of a payday.
They've probably been saying it for ages, and it's the one that popped.
They need consequences. They need to witness others just like them get nailed to the wall for making costly mistakes.
That's the only way.
Impact hundreds.
They need to learn that there are repercussions to what they're doing.
Of millions of dollars, possibly more. And they need to have it always in the back of their mind that the same thing could happen to them. Overall, whether or not someone is ever held accountable, and whether or not Hammer Capital and Walter Bloomberg were the true original sources of the claim, someone obviously was, and that someone is now a $1 trillion tariff troll after the news that they sparked impacted the entire United States stock market. Hammer Capital did come out later in the day and claim that this was all because of a trading desk circulating the headline at 10:09 in the morning, resulting from a misinterpretation of a Fox News interview. But first off, how would he know the reason for the mistaken headline when no one else does? And then obviously second, where's the proof? If this was really circulated, it would have gone out to a lot of people simultaneously. And there'd be screenshots or logs or something going back to the very first place it was ever published. Hammer Capital is providing no such evidence because my suspicion is that no such evidence exists. That's my opinion, to be clear. But the vibe I get is that a couple social media users accidentally created and then amplified a fake story, which had very real implications for the stock market.
Yeah.
I can't say for sure if there was insider trading or intentional market manipulation. Maybe the whole thing is even bigger than this, but
imagine insider trading and manipulation. This is all part of the plan. We don't know, do we?
But with the current state of the world, two morons on Elon's social media platform, getting a few extra morons in the mainstream news apparatus to chime in, and then manipulating the entire stock market, sounds pretty on track for how this country operates now. Crime is legal. Bro. The president has a shitcoin. So does his wife. That's fun. We're pardoning fraudsters.
That's actually crazy, isn't it?
Convicted, horrible fraudsters.
I forgot about that. I actually forgot about the shitcoins.
Billionaire lies every single day on the social media platform that he owns, where hundreds of millions of people just like blow smoke up his ass. And the dumbasses he inspires go on to manipulate markets because the media is hell-bent on being first to such an extreme degree they can't even check the basic facts.
Yeah, they don't
that makes total
care.
Sense to me right now. And the fact that it all happened because the president is suicidally implementing reciprocal tariffs that are literally just a function of trade deficits, that just makes it all that much better. Because we live in a circus and we're surrounded by clowns.
Yes,
Maybe I'll put that on a t-shirt or something and sell it. That's it. If you want to support the channel, check out the links down below. A special VPN, good deal there. Locals and Patreon, monthly memberships, merch, social media, etc., etc. But I'll cut it there and stop rambling. As always, thank you all for watching. Question everything, and have a nice night.
Just a giraffe walking. I thought it was going to be Saturn. I thought something was going to happen. hell. What a troll. If it's a troll, it's they fucking hell. The $1 trillion troll. Can you imagine that? Where did I put? Oh, I'm tired.